The survival games make up one of the most popular genres in gaming. From the blocky exploration of Minecraft to the tense underwater adventures of Subnautica, survival games share many traits, and yet the big hitters are always fairly unique. Survival games are also not the easiest genre to get into. They're designed by default to be difficult. You are surviving against all odds. There will be poison, there will be no food, there will be no water, so where to begin? Here you can check out the best survival games for beginners, which get you acquainted with the genre. Are survival games too stressful for you? If this is the case, then Among Trees is worth checking out. While danger is present in the forest, you can also sit back, relax, and explore the beautiful world around you. It's important to note that Among Trees does not receive any content updates or patches. Many describe the game as abandoned, but this does not take away from the game. Among Trees is still a wonderful experience that allows you to explore, create, and even cook. Terraria is another classic survival game that feels like a 2D version of Minecraft. Unlike Minecraft though, there are dozens of bosses that you can beat while progressing up to the final boss. Along the way, you can recruit NPCs to join you, who sell a variety of helpful items. With a basic structure defeat boss, upgrade gear and weapons, you can spend your time becoming the ultimate hero, but you can also take a slight detour and build epic bases. Just be sure to provide rooms for your NPCs. Forager is set in a bright and colourful 2D world, filled with resources for you to gather. There are so many resources, in fact, that you could very well spend several hours happily grinding away. This pixelated survival crafting game takes a step back from the realistic and sometimes scary environments. Overall, you are bound to have a relaxing experience as you build up your base and explore the world. Instead of playing in a vast world, Grounded takes you to the backyard. After being shrunken down to the size of a little bug, you will need to survive in the tall grasses, all while figuring out why you are so tiny. In Grounded, you can make a base to shield you from the dangers of the backyard, as well as play with friends, which is where the game truly shines. If you and your friends are looking for the perfect group survival game, then give Grounded a try. Valheim is a popular survival crafting game set in a procedurally generated world based on Norse mythology. You can set out alone or with others and create a worthy Viking base to hold you and all of our treasures. Crafting in Valheim is incredibly well structured. There are so many different items that you can make, ranging from weapons to decorations for your house. This game can become quite difficult at times, especially in dangerous areas. Fortunately, you can game at your own pace and hone your skills before setting out in the world. Next, we have Crashlands. This is a top-down survival game where you crash land onto a planet filled with aliens. The top-down perspective allows you to see more of what is going on around you and avoid potential frights, which is perfect for beginners. Crashlands is also quite funny, filled with humorous dialogue and items. If you are looking for a less serious survival game to start with, Crashlands is definitely the way to go. The Flame in the Flood is a roguelike survival game set in post-societal America. The basic concept is quite simple: travel down a procedurally generated river while trying to survive. Along the way, you can gather materials and craft weapons to protect yourself. This is a great game to play if you want a roguelike experience along with survival. Salt is another game set on the open waters. While playing, your goal is to explore various items and find new treasures. Compared to other games on our list, Salt is a relaxing and laid-back experience. It is similar to Astronair in that you won't constantly be pushed into stressful situations. If you want to spend all of your time fishing, then you have every right to do so. One Steam reviewer even stated that this game is good therapy. This War of Mine is a side-scrolling survival game with a strong anti-war message that places you in the shoes of civilians caught in the crossfire of unrelenting war. While a lot of media tackling such a stance can come off preachy or heavy-handed in its execution, this War of Mine handles the subject incredibly well. At its core, this game is about resource gathering and management as you try to feed, bandage, and shelter your growing group of survivors. The game is split into a day and night cycle, where during the day you oversee your base and in the night you have to scout out nearby locations to scavenge for supplies while avoiding local militia and bandits. Despite the cute art style, Don't Starve is a creepy and fun open-world survival game that throws you into dark fantasy environments populated with demons. It's not the easiest game in the world, but it does help you understand how to survive the growing dark. Don't Starve has roguelike mechanics such as permadeath, hack-and-slash combat, and different playable characters that each have their unique abilities. If you want to invite a friend, then you can instead purchase the standalone version Don't Starve Together, which adds co-op. Astroneer might be the ultimate survival game for beginners. This is because it's not so much about surviving as just sort of having a nice time. It's a beautiful game that involves surviving on an alien planet while heading out to explore new frontiers and environments. Astroneer is a total sandbox adventure. Because of the lack of, well, survival mechanics, this is the sort of game to play if you want a soft introduction to the genre. It's more about building and exploring rather than surviving, making it the ideal beginner's game. Minecraft is one of the most popular games out there. It has sold millions upon millions of copies across multiple platforms and continues to receive regular updates more than a decade since it was originally launched. Minecraft is probably the most iconic survival game of them all, so it makes sense you might want to jump into the genre with it. There are many ways to enjoy Minecraft. You can jump into a creative server and spend hours just building, or opt for an ultra-hardcore survival run where death means the complete, total end of your save. Minecraft is also one of the best survival games to play with friends, with easy to set up private servers or ways to play together on public servers. Stranded Deep is a classic survival game. You're stranded on a desert island and must survive. It doesn't get much more simple than that. There are also fairly limited mechanics in Stranded Deep. Nothing too complicated to craft, and no extremely difficult objectives if you don't count the mega sharks, of course. There is plenty to do in Stranded Deep. Grow crops, gather water, build a base, and eventually explore beyond your small island on the hunt for more resources. If you're brand new to the survival genre, we can't think of a better place to start than with Stranded Deep. Dumped in the middle of an expansive ocean, it's your task to survive while playing Raft. Gather materials from the surf, catch fish to survive, and slowly build up your raft to help you handle the perils of sea living. You can play Raft on your own or with your friends. It's a good game for beginners to the genre because it's all quite straightforward. You're on a raft on the ocean. You can explore the depths for short periods, but mostly it's about collecting stuff from the waves and defending your boat against any problems. No Man's Sky is an absolutely massive survival game set in a vast universe. Just how vast is it? Well, you're looking at over 18 quintillion planets. Of course, you won't visit all 18 quintillion planets, but this just shows how large the game truly is. While playing No Man's Sky, you can do pretty much whatever you want. Want to build an epic base? Go for it. If you get bored building your base, you can simply stop and go learn some alien languages. The choice is up to you. The Planet Crafter is a laid-back survival game set on a planet that is somehow hostile and cozy at the same time. In this game, your goal is to grow your base and make the planet hospitable for humans. You are, essentially, crafting a planet. In the Planet Crafter, you won't find hordes of enemies trying to kill you. Instead, you will learn to protect yourself from the elements and lack of food. Overall, this is great for the solo gamer. Rising quickly rose in popularity when it launched. It's carved its own space in the survival crafting genre by creating a world that is based not only on PvE against various difficult bosses, but also on plenty of PvP against other players. This isometric vampire simulator has some pretty unique mechanics, including a sunlight system that restricts your movement during the day, a blood system that allows you to gain temporary or almost permanent stat boosts from NPCs out in the wild, as well as a robust progression system. Lastly, we have Dismantle. This is a zombie survival game that lets you dismantle nearly everything in the world to make your own buildings. Unlike other zombie survival games, Dismantle is a bit more relaxed. With an isometric point of view, you will be able to see what is going on around you at all times. The game is packed with crafting recipes, and you can even create your own base from the ground up. As far as zombie survival games go, this is one of the most beginner-friendly options out there. Okay, we know that Subnautica can be pretty scary at times. Still, this is a great game to start with if you want to dip your toes into the survival genre. While diving into the depths of the water can be scary, you can totally take your time to get here. Subnautica is pretty polished with in-game tutorials that don't leave you feeling stranded. Harder survival games love you just toss you out into the wild, but Subnautica will help you at the start in order to ensure your survival. In Starbound, the entire universe is at your fingertips. After completing some quest-related tasks at the start, you'll then be able to hop on your ship and explore an infinite amount of planets. On top of that, you can settle down and make a colony. But overall, Starbound has endless possibilities, especially with the variation of species options that you can play as. For example, if you play as a Nova Kid, you will be star-like and glowing with a Wild West personality. What if Terraria was entirely underground? With Core Keeper, your dreams will come true. Core Keeper is a cozy survival game where you need to carve out your own base, as well as a path to each boss in the game. Along the way, you'll be able to explore a variety of biomes and new terrain. Rather than exploring everywhere, you'll need to defeat certain bosses and craft new equipment. Overall, this is a great game if you like sandbox games, but wish there was a bit more structure. Similar to Among Trees, the Long Dark places you in a frozen forest after a geomagnetic disaster. Several of the games on our list involve some sort of malicious creature, such as Zombies the Long Dark strays away from this, but this doesn't mean that the world isn't dangerous. You battle against the brutal cold and eerie silence while trying to survive. If you feel up to the task, you can also play in survival mode, which comes with permadeath. Yes, this means that when you die in the game, your save is deleted.